Radiant team ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It is time for the finals here for the Hyderabad stop of the Cobx Masters 2018 Team Wipeout, who basically stomped their opponents yesterday, more or less, against Team LoL, who also looks very good, but they took a little bit long if you look at the game times up against Team Advade. We certainly had some good games, some interesting strats, with like Bloodseeker Zeus making an appearance, even the Drow Ranger strat with some minus armor from the Slaughter. Things that we don't see all that often, but we've also seen some familiar faces like Sand Windrunner from both teams here. So won't be too surprised to see these kind of heroes highly contested. My name is Dragon Drop, happy to bring you this series. Happy to be joined by the one, the only Mirana, also known as Potham. How are you doing? You're muted. That's how you're doing. Excellent.
Perfect. There we go. Missed the button. Clicked it twice, missed twice. Nice. But yeah, I'm doing good. You're right. Was just talking about Wipeout on Team LoL. Wipeout having a little bit of an easier journey, you could say. On Team LoL, they kind of prevailed, you could say. They had a really hard game. Like they almost lost it in one of them. And we could have gotten to game 3, but in the end, they did manage to pull through with the tour. But a little bit curious how these will stack up. Like Wipeout was super solid when they played against Biscayne yesterday. They have a super aggressive style, and we see that right off the bat with the first pick, Undying coming in. And you see the bans as well. Like they banned out Shadow Shaman, they banned out the Scarif and the Doom. That's 3 heroes you usually don't want to see in like any kind of duo or defensive trial lanes.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I mentioned the Windrunner. I mean, this is a hero that Wipeout have been using to great success in the series, but now it's snagged away by Team LoL, so they now have to show what they can do against that hero. And Undying is certainly a decent enough start. I mean, Windrunner doesn't have the highest health pool to begin with. If you lower that down even more, then just an errant nuke or two could just be enough to burst her down if they end up in the same lane together.
They do need the nukes for that, though, and prominent heroes that would come to mind is Sand King, but still being in the pool. I think a Sand King Undying lane is just so good against the Wind Ranger. Something, but hey, it's a Disruptor instead. Okay, that's a hero that can harass her even in the Wind Run.
Yeah. And more importantly, almost, you can just counteract the Wind Run by just glimpsing her back after she used it, or just by keeping her inside the kinetic field. So I really like this pick already. Especially with the Undying, right? Undying has the one thing that he's missing is the ability to make people fight around him. Doesn't really have too many slows. Doesn't really have any good ways of keeping them around his tombstone. So Disruptor really very much solves this issue.
Yeah, I agree. This Disruptor really just good at keeping people exactly where they are, because why bother running if you're gonna be sent back anyways?
Yeah.
And Wind is kind of that hero that serves both roles. She likes to run around and makes a lot of damage, but if she can't run, she wants to stand still. And just the synergy between Undying and Disruptor, as you said, just helps preventing the Wind Ranger from going out of control. But not sure if they want to put the Wind Ranger in the core position just yet. We only had the first pick. They're going with the second now. Already burning through a little bit of the reserve time. Yeah. Well, would be that hero for them. I think they need another flex pick here. Sand King's still there. Just saying. You know?
I'm expecting either Sand King or perhaps Warlock here. Just have some extra sustain to throw against them.
Yeah, Warlock would be a nice idea as well. Could go with something a little bit more risky, going down the route of Naga Siren or even Dark Willow, just to have control, but Dark Willow isn't the best against Undying. Super squishy.
Oh yeah. Naga Siren, if they don't actually pick them, then they should probably ban it out, as Wipeout is one with the first pick. I mean, you already have the Undying, so it's maybe a little bit less likely.
Jakiro, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a good combo with the Disruptor, with the Undying, just as a setup, and for Tombstone to stack up zombies. On the flip side, I mean, Team LoL, if they had picked it up now, they could have just used the song to get rid of the Tombstone and basically nullify a lot of the Undying's impact in these teamfights.
Yeah. 10 seconds. But I did decide to go with the Jakiro instead. Don't completely agree with that pick. I imagine you're quite different there, but I think from a game perspective, Jakiro doesn't offer you as much already. Looks more like a Jakiro 5 Wind Ranger 4 though, so they go for the dual support pick.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they would reveal their position 5 that early if they can go for the second position 4 and another flex pick.
I mean, if I have to be completely honest with
10
myself, even though I love
seconds
Jakiro,
remaining.
he's not always the best choice.
5 seconds remaining.
He isn't as impactful as some of the other healers, just because he's rather slow and sluggish in whatever he does. So he basically tags on to whatever your other heroes are doing. When it comes to just follow up with Ice Path, just harassing a little bit more with dual breath and whatnot. But he's not really one that actively goes around makes things happen himself, which is something that Wipeout heroes certainly can be doing already by themselves, as we have Bloodseeker ban. So
yeah, we have a Bloodseeker ban. What do you think will happen next? Wanna take a guess? I'm smelling Mr. Pangolier coming in. Super good pick against Windranger. Rarely takes any damage. You're a little bit squishy early on, but if you manage to get farm against the wind, you just absolutely destroy her. You can go for pretty much any item. Diffusal, great. Maelstrom, great. Brewmaster works as well. That goes into the direction of a Pangolier. Lots of space making in the front line and basically being invulnerable.
Yeah. Big ass teamfight ultimate, essentially. That's what it comes down to. Brewmaster, very powerful with that primal split. In the first 20-30 minutes of the game at least.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and another hero that can keep people inside of the tombstone, inside of the undying area, just by tornado up. You don't want to abandon your teammate. You have the stun going up and running. They still talking about stuns. They still like that really hard disable. The one thing that goes through through a potential BKB. So Nikes might be a prominent pickup or jug for Team LoL.
Could be. They'd have to pick up another
Radiant
hero to really deliver him to the front lines, I think. Round Faceless Void. I actually like this one.
Yeah, that's a really
hero.
good pick.
Yeah, already heroes that can put in some extra damage into the fray. And one good way to prevent the Brewmaster from ulting, the Undying from stacking up strength and healing, is to just lock them inside the Chronosphere, burst them down before they have a chance to press the spells in the first place. Has to be a little bit careful about the Disruptor, but glimpsing him out of the Chronosphere and just essentially wasting a lot of his time.
5 seconds
Beyond
remaining.
that, should have a decent enough game.
I think Void is an excellent pick because this Void pick allows the Windranger to become a flex pick once more, beside that definite offlane ranger. Because now you can run the Void in a semi-dual lane where you pull a lot. Void also gives you the option to go for a secondary support if you want to put the Windranger still in the offlane, like picking up a Witch Doctor, which is a good hero against the Brewmaster, for example. So I really like the Faceless Void. It holds the lineup together so far, and they still have two picks to completely play around with.
Yeah. So if you're Wipeout now, how concerned are you about the Faceless Void? You change up your own plans? You're trying to find a counter to just continue building your own synergy?
I think if you wipe up, you just stack up on teamfight as much as you can. You need one definite answer to the Void. Heroes like Slark or any cheeky picks like Brood just fall out of question because the Chrono is just too strong to deal with. So that's a solid pick, you could say. That's more teamfight, that's more sustainability, that's pretty much everything, and doesn't fall victim too easily to Windranger. So that's a solid pick. I think what they severely lack is that big impact carry that just allows them to run over someone.
Yeah.
Be it... What could it be, actually? I think it's a troll. Looks like a troll game.
Troll wouldn't be too bad. Getting a blind chance, or can get close enough to the Windrunner. Or even just the Faceless Void, if he gets off on top of you, makes it a lot harder for him to actually secure these kills until he gets this crazy amount of attack speed items, some Maelstroms for some extra procs that go through. But we'll have to see. Dragon Knight, for sure, as you said, solves a lot of the problems and fills a lot of the gaps they have had until that point. Most importantly, the pushing angle. None of the other heroes really hit towers all that well, so having the Dragon Knight's pretty good in that sense. But you're up against the Shadow Fiend, one of the better heroes. If you have to be very careful about not letting him stack up these raid stacks.
Oh look, it's the Void, it's the Faceless Void Chrono Super Show. We're just dropping everything into it. I like that pick. It counters out the Dragon Knight immediately. Wipeout has to think, do we put our Dragon Knight into a safe line now? Because if he goes mid, Shadowfiend is one of the only heroes that consistently kills them throughout every level. Like, as soon as he reaches level 2, he just triple raise every time. For every time you go for a last hit, you take so much damage you can't control. With Jakira and Windranger in the field, there's 2 stuns that could rotate in if needed. They still keep the 5th position completely open. We don't know if there's another offlaner for Team LoL. If this is really the Windranger on the offlane, they might just as well go with someone like a Beastmaster. And interesting enough, Team LoL banning out the Lifestealer and the Juggernaut now, so full anti-magic damage banned out.
Yeah, curious to see what they want to round this out with now. I'm expecting an offlaner here of some description. Wouldn't hate Beastmaster. Doom is actually also still in the pool.
I'd say Sand King. It's still there. You can flex between Wind and the Sand. It gives you more teamfight. That's exactly what we want. Good frontline. Slaughter would be there as well to reduce the armor from Dragon Knight.
Oh yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Slaughter, Sand King. Who else is really there for them? Could be a Bristle, but not too big of a fan.
I think they need, like, right now, a lot of it is predicated on both the Shadowfiend just getting off to a good start and getting everything he needs, but also the Faces Void Chronosphere just hitting and winning the team fight outright. But if that ever doesn't happen, that ends up being on cooldown.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Is the
That's the first.
The thing is, right now, the weakness that I see is if the Chronosphere is on cooldown, all of a sudden Team LoL seem a lot less dangerous. Because then Wipeout, they don't really have, if they don't have to care about the Chronosphere, they can run in at will with the Brewmaster. Disruptor can have more time to set up his own spells. And for that matter, like if he keeps an eye on Faces Void, if he just jumps in, he might be able to get the Static Storm off before the Chronosphere can come out. And like this game is not as easy as it may sound, especially with the Bristleback, who doesn't provide any secondary teamfight control. And now the Viper, yeah,
that's a direct counter. Yeah, they want to get rid of Bristleback, and that's the Dragon Knight for the safe lane. They're putting the Viper mid. Yeah. And I was about to say, you better not pull this into your Faces Void Aghanims discussion, but yeah, you're right. Like the moment they don't have a Chrono is the moment where they just run. And there's Viper, Brewmaster to prevent them from running, Dragon Knight to initiate from long range, Disruptor to pull them back. They can't pretty much, they can't turn around. The moment Team LoL turns around, tries to run to safety, you get glimpsed, you get Brewmaster lifted, you get Viper ulted, you get Dragon Knight jumping you, and you're sitting in a tombstone and you just die.
Yeah. So, bottom line, like, I do like LoL's lineup if they actually are able to execute every single time, or alternatively just manage to stay away if they don't have their abilities available. On the other hand, like, we've seen Wipeout be very, very strong and very uncompromising in their playstyle, to say the least, yesterday.
That was fast.
Yeah. So, especially with the Viper completely countering out the Bristleback, which I just don't think is a really good hero, especially if he's countered out naturally. So I do want to give that advantage overall to them on the Radiant side here.
I agree. I think Bristleback only works if you pick him either first pick and you sacrifice the lane from the very beginning with a definite plan. You have a Wisp in your team to buff him up, or you pick him on the last slot in the entire draft when you have the last pick. Otherwise, Bristle is just not going to work. Even without the Viper, he will struggle. There's an Undying and a Disruptor to play with. So Undying will reduce his HP pool, Disruptor throws Thunder Strike on him, and then basically you don't have HP anymore. And I like what they're doing, putting the Bristleback top already, so they're going with potentially dual lanes with Void Aggressive. That is the right move, but still. At least the Shadow Fiend against Viper.
You know what I gotta say now, right? At least they have hope.
Ah.
You get
God damn it.
Because hope's on this. Okay.
Hold on. I get it. There you go. There's the door.
Box. Oh.
No, there's the door. Show yourself out.
Great. Ah man, you're stuck with me. There's actually wards planted in the Dire side, but the Radiant one was a little bit earlier, so they pinged it heavily. This one should be counted out.
Yeah, but the moment it is counted out, they know there's a ward as well, so might as well no team going with it.
Yeah.
Shadowfiend benefits more from wards than the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight is Dragon Knight. While he has the additional benefit if he has a ward on the high ground, he's most likely in the river in the mid lane, while the Shadowfiend sits on the high ground. However, you need to see when he starts raising, so we're gonna see some fierce warding battle, or they completely ignore it because Shadowfiend wants to hit his raises too, so he doesn't want to lose that vision.
I mean, even Viper, like, normally you'd say, oh yeah, corrosive skin, extra magic resistance, yada yada yada, but it doesn't actually protect you as much as you might think up against the raises, especially with that extra stack damage coming in, so even the Viper has to be a little bit careful about that. And, yeah, I mean, as a result, I've seen this matchup go both ways before. It's really going to come down to the skill and being able to outplay your opponent, and,
well, I would argue that that the corrosive skin, it is pretty good against the raises. It's not the best in the world. It was better before they slightly nerfed it.
It's not enough to keep you alive if Shadowfiend is determined.
He needs one extra raise, basically. He needs a 4th raise or an extra hit to kill you. It is worth it only for the return damage if you only catch 1 or 2 raises, but... Oh, that's a DK stun.
Half dragons up against twin-headed dragons.
And raptors.
Disappointing. Yeah.
And zombies. That's an exciting lane.
Just the freedom of the Dragon Knight in the safe lane as well, right? You can't afford to go for level 1 Dragon Tail, especially if you have a trial lane with you.
Oh, look at those TPs. They're rotating the entire top lane to bottom, and they still put the Void up against the Brew. I don't think that was the plan. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, Brew's pretty good against most melee laners here, just with Drunken Brawler. Next point will be probably up in the Drunken Haze, just spamming that out on the Faceless Void. At the very least, you have Jakiro who can kind of harass him, more or less. But you also have a decent enough health pool to work with that you can just shrug it off for a while.
I think what Team LoL actually planned for is that the DK still stays in mid, and that they're gonna face a Viper bottom, and this is why they so drastically changed the lanes now. But even now, there we go. Like, you use Undying once, 8 DKs from the DK on the Bristle, one Thunderstrike, and look how low he is. 400 HP.
Well, at the very least, he'll get a lot of value out of that tank that he's munching on.
Yeah, it's perfect. And that's how you play against Undying, right?
Yeah. Those Undying himself, those 2 mangoes to work with, so plenty of DKs left in the tank, and he has to be very careful, especially sitting at level 1. You don't actually have that passive, and yeah, you might just be dead here. Beautiful Shackle though. Keep them away.
Still don't know how these hit. Never works when I do it.
Well, it's just Windrunner, you know? Whenever I play Windrunner, I throw the exact same Shackle and it doesn't latch on anything.
Yeah, or it latches to the tree for some reason, not the 2 heroes. It's like... I know. I hate Shackle. It's an infuriating spell.
If it ever worked. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a feature that unlocks with like 5k MMR, and before that, it just can't latch.
Well, White certainly has that. Doesn't protect him from actually dying, though. You talked about it in draft as well, right? I mean, Bliss Black, bad enough to have him stack it up, but Windrunner also was on receiving end a lot of these decays. And I mean, right now, 500 health points that without any decays on top of him. So you can imagine how much health he actually had available. Before I
think it was 280 or something he had on the third one, and then one Thunderstrike basically killed him. And... well, keep hoping. He's getting aroused as well.
He's gonna be dying. The right clicks, Thunderstrike, on the free fire.
May the elders carry you to
absolute disaster lane for Team LoL.
Yeah.
Wipeout is just wiping the floor with them here.
Yeah. There's really no other way to say it. They're now bringing down the Jakiro, which doesn't leave you with 1v1 up top, certainly favored towards the Brewmaster, and you see it already. Level 4, facing Void level 3, which is with Jakiro soaking as much as he has, without really being able to zone out his opponent.
Talking about zone out, the Viper, level 4 now, he's gonna start zoning the Shadowfiend to the maximum.
That's the other way it can go, if you can make good use of your own harassment. Being aggressive with the poison tag, just dodging a few of these raises.
Hey, good news, I haven't found the pulse button.
Oh, FN, it's actually dead here. Another poison attack, couple right clicks, yeah.
Yeah, that 15% from the magic resist saved the Viper in the end. Well, to be fair, it's only level 2 race, so it doesn't do as much.
Yeah. I still need to have enough region to keep myself healthy as Shadow Fiend. You want to make this trades. Another Shackle will connect. On the Undying, has some heals to work with. The stun onto the Bristleback. They're still committing into the fight, even though the will start to stack up and hope. It's not quite dead just yet, but Omiera on the Dragon Tank will be still fine. I'll just tank it all up.
Thanks.
Yeah, so top lane, Brewmaster, 23 last hits. 24 now. 14 to the Void. So Void is even losing his own safe lane. They lost the off lane, trying to make a move in Undying, but yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I mean, this move doesn't really make any sense. Bring the Jakiro down here, especially because you see this Undying. Undying really loves having tri-lanes up against him. The only thing he would love more is quad lanes, so all 5 heroes up against him, so he can just stack up his decay. And this is not going better with the Jakiro here. It's not the perfect lane support in these situations. He's getting some spells out, another Shackle, they keep connecting. But they've already lost the Bristleback again, and Pawn trying to get in range for, for a glimpse. But instead lighting himself up for a power shot. So it's a bit of a misstep, just as I was praising the lane. But,
Only they had at least one return kill on the Wind Ranger. Reach for her, but still, all their lanes are an absolute disaster right now. The mid lane is losing, the bot
kills everywhere else while that was happening. Oh man. And doesn't actually have the health, so he has much on a few tangos. He cannot even contest Pinkman now.
Yeah, I think Pinkman is just stomping all over this lane. He still has the split available. As soon as he sees the Void jumping, I don't think he even needs it. He just corners him. Oh, no, there we go.
They're safe and sorry for the stun. Couple of right clicks.
Nice block.
Yeah. Very easy kill. Down bottom,
really
another
low
stun,
damage.
another couple of right clicks as I completely lag out. I'm still in the game.
I have been shafted as well.
Feels
But-
bad, man. I mean, it's probably
back
just
in.
Dota saving us from this this NSFW content that's happening bottom lane. Shackle actually Dragon Lane, super low, but I can't actually get close to finish the job. Even Jakiro with a double damage and Miedo just walking up, another stun, another right click, another kill. Power shot, well, himself up nicely enough. That's a third solo kill in mid. Clown, I mean, if you've learned anything, then that he's a pretty good mid player.
Yeah, you especially once the Viper has a level advantage over you, you just have to leave the lane. The moment you walk into Viper Strike, even just a slight misstep for half a second, that applies to Viper Strike on you, and then you're just dead. It's level 4 poison attack. It doesn't have a cooldown. It's also 40% slow, which is disgusting.
Yeah. Not to mention the more damage you have done, the more damage his poison attack does as well. So that's certainly something the way you, if you get caught up by that, you have to TP out immediately and hope for the best.
Pretty much, yeah.
We've been harassed down a little bit before that, then that might not even be enough for Shadfiend.
The problem with that is you need at least like 25 to 30 seconds to walk back to your lane, and then you have 20 seconds of last sitting and face the Viper again.
Yeah. So, what is the response to this? I mean, they have a Chronosphere now. They don't really have much to combo it up with just yet.
Response-wise, they can make some chrono plays, but we see Jakiro sitting on level 4. Sheriffin did not pick up the ultimate yet, and he still wants that level 4 Necro Mastery. So it's gonna be a while before they have any meaningful burst damage. Void himself cannot lock down a kill on anyone. Brood, both the Brood, the Dragon Knight, and the Viper are such tanky targets, and then you have to deal with the Undying. So maybe you smoke, try to find the Disruptor lingering in mid. They see him right now sitting here, so that prevents the Nothing Rust. Get a smoke on the Courier, stack up your Shadow Fiend and your Faceless Void, and just rotate towards the Disruptor at bot or at mid.
No, still sitting around up top. Pawn making a rotation. He has been scattered out by Ward, though, I do believe, in mid lane. As, yeah, Pinkman just continuing his domination. Level 9 to level 6 of the Faceless Void. Cannot
He doesn't even care about him in lane.
we go again. Ice Path.
Violent.
And dead. Drakes against dragons. The Drake wins this one. The Shackle, Wolfneck, Power Shot. A little bit of damage, but Raindrops protecting Fawn. And now can go for a glimpse. Right into the loving arms of the Viper. No way out for the Windrunner. But they do get the kill with the Shadow Fiend. Let's feed back in. The Clown does not want to stick around behind the tower, especially with the Face of Blood coming in. Very long TP that he cancels in the end.
I think he was afraid to broom my. I don't know. No, he didn't interrupt. What happened? Maybe should have followed through. He had level 3 time walk.
Yeah.
Could have been a close call. But yeah, taking a look at the last chart, 66 on the Brewmaster, 60 on the DK, 43 and 42 on the Viper and Shadowfiend respectively. So Shadowfiend got some farm, but that's due to jungle creeps, so he's still sitting way behind the Viper. And the network just reflects that. All the 3 calls on Wipeout are just steadily ahead and gaining more.
Well, White FNG keeps finding these shackles to trees, so they'll give that one to him. With the pressure, yeah, it's gonna start now. Dragon Knight level 7. First ultimate use here, and with a catapult wave, they will be able to secure this tier 1 tower. No questions asked. At the same time, Viper putting on similar pressure in mid. The Illusion Rune helping tank up some of these creeps, so 2 towers will be going down almost simultaneously here, if it wasn't for the glyphs. At the same time, they're gonna try and make a play up top. The Shackle again connecting. Brewmaster, can you get the ultimate off? You might have to, but the Chrono Clear just in time. Extra raises to finish the job, certainly needed. You get a very important kill. At the same time, Hope. Well, that guy is still on level 4, so not nearly as great of a kill as the Brewmaster was up top.
Yeah, just Chrono was on time, almost got the ult. That would have been a disaster. Just imagine he actually get the Prime split out, and then the Chrono hits.
Oh,
Well, a little bit hesitant to actually to use it. But again, it's a 7k lead, 11 minutes in with a Viper and a Dragon Knight, and you know what Dragon Knight does? He just runs at your tires when he's ahead.
Oh, yeah. 40 seconds until another Dragon form. In the meantime, comes up with the rest of his team. He just set up for the tier 2 tower pressure up top, so not wasting any time whatsoever. It's over 12 minutes in. These towers are already under threat, especially since they now know, hey, there's no Chronosphere for a long time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's 80 seconds of free pushing with a Viper. Like, he does have the Dragon Lance, so he doesn't even have to move. He just sits as a tire range and starts hitting it.
Yeah. Look at the Brewmaster. Until just a moment ago, he
Radiant's
did
middle
have
tower is
the
under
Blink Deck
attack.
queued up, but now instead he goes for the Blats, which to me is another indication that they just want to fight right the hell now.
Radiant are scanning.
Interesting, we don't see any Dominator just yet.
Shackle connecting, ultimate from FM, holding on to it for a little while. Jarvis still alive, cannot get the tombstone off and gets raced down, but FM is still under dropping here with Clown. Good job on his arch nemesis, and as Bristleback, well, he gets broken, so no extra quill. Clown still dies in the end, despite the static storm, despite everything else. With some couple of very good kills, but it's not going to be enough. Beautiful Shackle onto a crit though, not onto actual Pinkpen. Still crits him down after the stun connects. So 4 for 2 trade or something like that in the end.
Yeah, and it's 4 for 2 indeed, and slightly 300 gold lead for Wipeout in this fight. But most importantly, they have the tower that's added on top of that. Meaning they still made a lot more money here. And they keep making pressure.
I think the biggest win there was for Lil. Get that experience, just like surged up. He was level 4 just a moment ago, now it's up to level 7. Back in that fight.
It's like killing somebody with a godlike streak and you suddenly have 6 levels.
Still there, Brown pushes out. They do get the disruptor. Extra stuns onto FM. You need a little bit of extra support though. Brewmaster alone, I don't think he can really. Well, he's certainly trying his best. Can he kill FM here? He can. Wow, that's actually quite impressive.
But he loses.
All 5.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, he should still end up dropping here with 4 more heroes running him down, and no attempt made whatsoever by the rest of his team to catch up. Instead, they get themselves a tier 2. And even then, he still takes quite a while to kill.
Space created. Call him Justin. Just in time.
Oh man.
Just that split duration.
Invest. They see him coming in now. They drop down the ward as well as the sentry. Shadow Blade into a Dragonite. Go for the Maelstrom next, and well, no matter getting these kills, it's still just an avalanche rolling your way, slowly but surely.
I mean, they're holding the line right now on Team Wolf. It's still 7k. It hasn't grown, it hasn't fallen down, and that's with 2 towers down for the count. They get some experience. Void with the Mask of Madness finished, he can go for some light kills on Disrupt and whatnot. Jennifer with Drums completely looking towards the Shadow Blade next. He's still very far behind. Same place to Wind Ranger and Bristle, but at least they hold the line for now. However, there is a Roche coming.
They have to give up a lot of objectives to actually make that happen, including this goes now with minus armor to work with gifting and dying presumably, and here Stallion. Which will make this possible, and they have a Chronosphere. If they knew, they could potentially contest. But would have been a very hard call regardless.
Yeah, that's hard call in the end. I think it would have just, even with the Chrono, it would just wipe against the Tombstone around the pit area.
Yeah.
They just can't establish themselves. They even dropped it down prematurely on the tomb.
That's some good warding though. Good defensive warding here with the Observer Sentry combos. Up on both high grounds here, left and right. So Shadow Fiend cannot find anyone sneaking about.
Bro is so rich, full Vladimir's, and he's looking towards the Blink Dang and almost has it at 60 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like the dream.
Speaking of 60 minutes, it's about the time when the last remaining out-of-tier tower is falling on the Dire side.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
There's a Chronosphere available for the high ground defense. No macro power to kill, but not up to put a point into that.
Radiant's bottom
See hit
tower
level
is
6.
under attack.
With the catapult here, that's not easily burst down by the spells. If they want to commit, they can. But ideally, they want to get a kill or two first.
There's too many dragons here. And wyverns and whatnot. Flying stuff.
No such thing, man.
Is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I still want to see a dragon draft.
Shackle not connecting to him in the middle, just glimpse back onto the Static Storm onto the Shadow Fiend. But they're not even focusing on him, they're trying to burst down everyone else because they know he's already dead. Cruiser comes in, but a very little damage to throw in. Even the Disruptor, not even dying just yet, gets healed up by the Undying. All of a sudden, 4 heroes on the sidelines, the fifth one lifted up into the air, stunned up, time mark off, and then full 5-man wipe. 2 buybacks already, they're kind of low on some of the heroes. Certainly low on mana on most of them, but teamfight win, no Chronosphere, no nothing really to throw at them apart from power shots. They can still feel very comfortable continue to push onto the Drax, despite everything being thrown at them. Right FNG, gotta be careful here, Clown. Still happy to right click away and even commit his own life with the agents if he wants to. He's sitting around and want to get hope. Quite get only now the Nether Toxin, enough mana for it, but walks straight out of it. Nice little double shackle again. Dragonite. And actually pay with his life. Both can get a few more kill specs in, but beautiful kinetic kill, keeping them in place. Clown, well, as I said, he can certainly stick around and die if he wants to. The shackle not connecting this time somehow. Now Tombstone comes out and finally he is dropping down. Hope. A couple of zombies here with the extra bit of poison. We'll actually see him die into another buyback. It's another glimpse as well. White FMG. That's a dieback. Still only 35 seconds on the sidelines here with the low death timers, but this push still unrelenting. Another stun, another static zone just to make sure that the Void cannot come back whatsoever. They get the Rex denied, so good on FM. It's a moral victory at the very least, but they will still lose the full set here. And I don't know, I don't see this push ending. Pushing out bottom.
Yeah, me neither. This fight lasted so long, this is already the second dragon form coming up. Hey, they got the Rax tonight. Free soul.
Back. And just keep getting kills. Hope is just, again, that never talks to especially even without that. He's just dying way too quickly on the Bristle Bite. A shackle on the 2 dragons. Dragons in the vacant chasm, if you will. Pawn. Lost control of the seal there for a second. Not exactly where he wanted to be, and that's when they finally decide to slow it down a little bit. They do have a Blink Brewmaster ultimate though. So if they wanted to, they really could continue to fight, but He decides to give them some quarter, but it's there. There's no tombstone. You're only thinking about it for a few seconds there, but
Yeah, didn't leave him to die in the end.
Yeah.
Wow, what a fight. That was a solid 3 minutes, I think. So we started around, like, Roche down the mid lane, T2 fold, T3 folds, Rax folds, and 2 Dragon Forms committed. Like, that was my favorite. This fight lasted so long. He had 2 entire Dragon Forms and the cooldown in the fight.
Right FNG. And we run it, but once again, this warding it's not even being counted out. Like, it's from relatively obvious spots, so you imagine that Wipeout would be able to just plop a sentry down, but...
Well, they had none of the drop there. He bought it up there, but then they never, like, entered this area before. They only pushed the T2 when there was no enemy inside, and they pushed mid on get for Roach, so they were never in range. But I'm sure they're gonna establish some vision control next. You're gonna see the Viper rotating in there under the sentry.
Well, we're in 2 lanes now. The lane as well as bottom. Hope back, only short range, but inside and then toxic.
Yeah, Tox is
So
just
easy.
too strong to deal with, especially for Bristle.
C3 tower not long for the world. Right click down by Clown. And gonna see the same type of fight again here. Brewmaster with the primal splits, starting up FM. Extra minus armor, couple extra right click, and then just a good measure. And the big drop down, Yabba-dabba-doo, Magnifier completely ineffectual. The Dragon Knight focusing on the racks. Buyback was still available actually on the Shadow Theme. So he's trying to do what he can, but they're not even like not even making them wait a single bit.
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
This game seems very much over to me, just like the games against the opponent last time.
Yeah, 20k ahead, and Dragon Knight can't even take damage.
Comes in,
Full Reaver.
side storms, keep the spare in check, and he will die again. They have nothing to protect themselves. Nothing to throw at a Wipeout.
There's the duty. Yeah. This is just full laning disaster. I think they have to completely scrap their draft on Team Bull and go fresh into the next game. Because this was just, I don't know, I think even after the draft you could already see Wipeout is gonna win those lanes. They were just straight up stronger from the beginning. I think the Bristol Black was a major mistake in the draft, not putting the Wind Ranger in the core position.
Yeah.
And then just their laning rotation really killed it for them.
Yeah, like they're the Bristol Black, which was never going to work out this game with the last big Viper for sure. And then they still try and put resources in that lane, trying to make it work after they've already lost a couple of heroes. They rotate Jakiro in there rather than bringing the Windrunner up to try and deal with the Brewmaster, which is basically what killed them. And of course, just in mid lane, Viper just straight up outcast. Very solid performance once again here in this game. And yeah, that all adds up. Team LoL, I mean, the draft would have worked if, or could have worked, if they actually got past the laning stage and got a few tools to work with, but felt like they lost the game way before that ever had the chance of happening.
Yeah, they had basically, there was no punishment for Wipeout to ever hit a hero. They had a Viper and they had everything. Usually heroes like Shadowfiend are a great punishment if you go on a specific hero. Same would work with like anyone who builds a blade mill. That's why I like the Slaughter initially in the laning phase. You could have swapped out the Bristle for the Slaughter, and the moment one of your team gets jumped by the Viper or whatnot, you turn around to Slaughter, blink in, stun crush 2-3 heroes, and just try to reinitiate with the Jakiro. But wasn't really an option.
Well, we'll see what they can do in game number 2, because this is still a best of 3 series. Team LoL have one more shot to rethink their strategy, see if they can put up another fight. It's going to be happening in just a few minutes, so stay tuned.
Dire team ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Time for
Radiant
game number
team
2
back.
here in this best of 3 final series between
Dire
Wipeout
team
and
pick.
Team LOL. Well, Wipeout, they've looked
Radiant
as
team
strong
pick.
as against the Biscuit Warriors in the semifinals yesterday, and this time around they get the windrunner themselves in the first pick. So, can they make this a 2-0? It seems likely, but Team LOL, well, I'm sure they've learned quite a bit in that last game. First foremost, that you gotta get some lanes. You have to at least win one of them to have a shot going forward.
I agree. At least they banned out the online this time. No Brewmaster played around with either, so 2 heavy laners banned out. Brewmaster not usually pick you get hit with quite often, but I think Team LoL kind of learned the lesson and starting with some extreme CC just from the get-go. That's needed against Windranger. Shadow Shaman, not the best hero to go up against her in lane, but he will do.
Certainly, like, you can play around it like quite a bit. You can right-click trade, and if you win runs, you shackle up for a while, but Skyrath Mage is a different story entirely.
Yeah,
Shadow Shaman, normally he wants to deal damage, he wants to be the aggressor, but the moment you just turn a knife on him, he cannot really do that anymore. Like, it's very dangerous.
Yeah, Skyjist, a hero that doesn't even know the word defense in his vocabulary. Just running at heroes, spamming it as much as you can. 2 flex picks from the beginning on Wipeout. Could be mid Sky, could be support Sky, could be support Windranger, could be offlane Windranger. So nothing really shown. And interesting dry ban coming in from Team LoL. Preventing anything. I think even with this weird dry strat, they already have the perfect setup to go up against the dry strat. So, a little bit of a wasted ban in my opinion.
I mean, can always just catch you off guard and can take down the towers very quickly and can keep the pace of the game super, super high to a point where you might not even have all the tools that you need, like Beastmaster, Shadow Shaman. They need some sort of item to get closer to Zhao to really threaten her. So, sort of understand that fear. OD?
I smell Dragon Knight.
Maybe, yeah.
Would be a good pick. Tinker a second ban on a side note. I haven't talked about that. That kind of hints at a pushing strat, you could say. Shadow Shaman, Beastmaster, that is pretty fast already. What could they pick up to enforce this? An Axe would come to mind, and they just run like two offlaners and make pressure. That's a Tusk. Okay, works just as good. That's the initiation tool.
Not the better ones up against the Windrunner if you can manage to catch her and throw out the shards. You can waste a couple of seconds here of that Windrun as she's trying to navigate around that. Certainly good against Skyrath Mage too.
Yeah, and you can use the snowball before he has the Aether on the sky to just get out of harm's way, which is important. Or just save an ally with it.
Yeah, that defense utility up against the Misty Flaven, the Windrunner Shackle. Could come in big here, actually.
So Team LoL, they kind of checked all the early draft boxes, meaning they have some sort of deep push, mainly in the Shadow Shaman and the Beastmaster. They have a stun that pierces, or 2 stuns actually, that pierce BKBs, and they have 2 stuns or control spells / slows in general, being mainly on the Shadow Shaman and as well with the Tusk. So they have a lot of control already. Now they have to put the flavor in the draft, meaning you need that high burst damage on one of your heroes. Shadow Fiend would come to mind since they already have a Tusk. Not sure if they want to pick him up that early, though.
They have the very last pick going into the draft, so you'd imagine that to be reserved for the mid laner, which means now they'd need a carry.
Could be a Troll. Troll looks really good. Great synergy with the Beastmaster. Good solid laning phase. You already have to lock them for the Windranger with the Shadow Shaman. Can we still say Windrunner? We can still say that, right?
I'm always saying that.
Alright, so no DMCAs coming out. Just gotta be careful these days.
It's not like she ranges like the wind, right? She runs like the wind, so she's a Windrunner.
Yeah.
It's,
maybe she's a ranger. You know, just throw a ranger. She has a bow. Just saying.
Yeah, so? Still runs like the wind.
Could still be a ranger.
10 seconds remaining.
All right, maybe the name doesn't work with the with the model of the hero, but or we have some really wild discussions about Wisp.
Oh god.
Radiant team
Well,
back.
Death Prophet, pretty much the Dragon Knight's replacement, more or less. Phantom Lancer. That's more interesting. Good against the
Ooh,
Tusk.
yes.
Shadow Shaman, decent against him too. Like if you have plenty of illusions, so he doesn't know who to shackle or to who to axe. Even then, he might just die if the Phantom Lancer has a diffuser
10
blade running him down.
seconds remaining.
So, Team LoL, they need somebody that locks down this PL, a core roll. Could still be the safe and Death Prophet, but I highly doubt it. I think this is the mid DP. That's the pushing power. They need somebody who either further makes pressure with more push. They already have great pushing potential. Or they need somebody that reliably locks down the PL. And Void is completely out of the question is the problem. Because they're already up against Witch Doctor Scarif. It might actually be a good pick for... Wipeout, please. Don't do that to me.
Maybe they meant to pick it, but then they forgot
I
to
tried.
first.
I tried.
No, Bottom. No, we're not picking that. Stop even thinking about it.
But you have Skywrath and Witch Doctor.
You don't
and
know
you need
us.
lockdown.
Pigment's like, you don't know me. Don't tell me what to do.
God damn it. Should be a Pinkman hero coming up there.
5 seconds remaining.
Really?
I think so. I think it's a support wind.
Radiant team pick. Queen
Yep.
of
Do you really think so?
Pain.
That's a quap. Completely. Alright, I give up.
Yeah, so
I'm done.
I'm thinking this is mid-co-op. Skyro support just way too strong. And then wouldn't run in that offline position.
Oh, we see. They can still swap it up. Might be offlane quap.
10 seconds remaining.
Perhaps.
What's the team LoL
But
pick
Quap,
now?
like,
5 seconds
Quap
remaining.
seems like a clown hero to me. Just the way he's played, just looking at his profile, he's the kind of mid player that just dominates in these kind of heroes. I would guess.
Although we just say like a clown hero. What is so funny about Quap? Did I miss something? I realized too late. I'm sorry. But yeah, don't be in despair. The Juggernaut is here.
Yeah, at the very least, you can sort of deal with a Scarf Mage unless you get just silenced up outside of the fog or something. Then he just is in a lot of
Did you
trouble.
notice? They have a lot of pushing power. There's not much, like they have some physical deepish with the Queen of Pain and getting rid of creep waves, but against Exorcism, against Beastmaster, against Shadow Shaman, you still take a lot of damage on your tower. And Tusk Beastmaster, they can tank the tower for a limited time with a healing ward.
Yeah. Question though becomes like whether you're actually able to make these plays, because if you look at Wipeout's lineup, those are the kind of heroes that can just fight all the time, essentially. As long as they have mana, they can fight, and it's exactly what they want to do, and just snowball off from there and just win every single engagement. Put Team LoL on the defensive from minute one, essentially.
True enough. I favor the Wipeout lineup as well. I think there's a very specific timing you have to hit on Team LoL, and they have a Juggernaut, and you know I'm not a big fan of him as a carry right now. That's because he runs. He's always like the I guess we can't take that hero, so we take Juggernaut kind of hero.
Yeah.
He's the replacement carry he's mediocre at everything, but he doesn't excel anywhere. Like he's decent with hitting. He has a decent ultimate that can have a lot of impact, but most likely will not. He is pretty decent at pushing out, but he doesn't have that escape spell. If your healing ward gets killed, then one of your abilities is just instantly removed from the fight.
30 seconds
So
to
he's
battle.
not really that useful.
I mean, like, he's good in the sense that he is not really bad at anything. I mean, this would be the more positive way to spin that. So.
But then you have heroes like Windranger who are just good at everything.
Not always.
She's OP.
Not always. But yeah. Windrunner actually without the Orb of Venom, so it's yet another indication that it's core roll this time around. With the lone
Yeah,
for the time being.
Building in a null first. Has a support rate hitting in with Skywrath. Neither with an Orb of Venom, but Skywrath Windranger, it's a lot of harassment.
It's indeed. Yeah, but yeah, he thinks twice about that.
That's like, I guess I cancelled that.
Okay. So, Clown actually messing up the block somewhat in mids. Or he's blocking too hard, maybe. The creep's just dying on the tower, so only getting 2 of these last hits. This dual lane takes shape, and yeah, that's what Shaman doesn't really like, but it's not just dual lane, it's trial lane. Shackle coming out now. Pinkman doesn't actually have to tank these extra right clicks.
Yeah, level 1 Tusk. Good luck. Can't lock this guy down. He just continues spamming. That will be. He doesn't even have to self on Tusk, so that's at least three tangos down. They have 1 self left on the lane. Some tangos, but they're gonna take so much harass damage.
Top lane.
Hope
is gonna die. He's Batman.
No hope remaining in this lane, you could say.
Yeah, just throw up some body blocks, a couple of right clicks. Spell or 2.
Thanks.
Well, that's the thing with the Beastmaster, right? Normally you see him as a very powerful offlaner, but that is when you run these dual lanes, when you have your own support to just keep the attention of the safe lane support from the other side. That's not the case here, so keeps so once again try to go for the Striling. There's Shackle level 1 though in Zervo, so no Windrun available to actually get himself out there.
Yeah, remember when we had that Shackle level 1 discussion? I remember.
I remember too, and we're not fans of it. And this is exactly why. Even power shot, at least you can do damage with Shackle level 1, even if you connect it. It's like, what, 1.5 seconds? 2 seconds? Alright, but if nothing to follow that up with.
Yeah, but you talked about the Beastmaster top, and I disagree slightly, because yes, he's really powerful in dual lanes, but see what he does to the PL. Fairy Fire? Alright, turns around. Almost. If he had a mango, it would have been a kill.
Yep. And then again down bottom. I mean, I would imagine that to be less possible once that guy gets a point in the, what's it called, the doppelganger. Clown gets a kill of mid, they exchange tips. Over to FM, alright. Didn't quite see what happened there, I'm not sure that was supposed, these kind of things are supposed to happen pre-level 6 on the co-op. But top lane, alright. Barely catching up with all of these kills as they make another attempt on bottom. What is happening bottom? Like,
I don't know, like right now they had a slight misstep on the Windrunner, and they should have completely abused the fact at the bottom lane, but they're allowing them not much space, but Wind is gonna get some experience now, so it's not looking too bad for them actually, for Wipeout. And mid lane already slightly pulling ahead, PL pulling slightly ahead. It's gonna be it's the same story with the difference that the offlane is doing okay this time for Team Bull. They have a decent off this time, but I don't think it's enough. It's enough space and enough pressure to actually pull this game into an early game push.
Yeah. That bottom, another snowball. Spare time to walk in. Shackle slowing him down a little bit, but proper shackles from Yabadabadoo. Also keep the pigman in place, so Spare. And grabbing himself a killing spree, 3-0. So making good use of that spin. Though Persona level 1 at that point. And mid lane.
We have
Clown actually already used that blink, but maybe it's way enough back. With that security invisible, so it's good to find something if M were to stick around. Die scan.
Oh yeah. Go back to get base, please.
Yeah.
That's the downside of going for a double no talisman build. Your bottle is so late, you practically seize control of the first 2 routes at minute 2 and 4. That's against the Queen of Pain. That will hurt you. So I think the better approach is to really go for that bottle and take the last hitting power with the Crypt Spawn instead.
Yep. Well,
A small loss.
hindsight's 2020, as they say. Fem's back now. Clown already used all of his bottom charges to get himself back up. Where he is right now is the runes are coming out. Lol actually getting most of them. Oh, and only able to secure the one on the top lane.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the supports. They're really aggressive, and you can't really afford getting into a fight without creeps, without your carry in range against the Tusk and the Shadow Shaman, because they will just lock you down. And with so many disabled, you're free to pretty much do whatever you want in those engagements. But I don't know. I just see this Wind Ranger getting so much farm right now, and unless they kill the Scarif repeatedly.
Well, ready for the shackle on the toss. Some extra right clicks. Good power shot. That Kingman will still end up dropping. Shots coming out. Zerbo. This time he commits for a kill. The cast bouncing between the two of them. Nice little Maldeck. They do have stick charges to work with though. Extra shackles, couple of crits. Witch Doctor will also drop. 2 for 2 kill. There's a double and another Wind Run available. Make it a third. Triple from Zerbo. Have that extra rotation in from the Witch Doctor to help out. Meanwhile in mid, Clown once again. He blinked in aggressively. Oh, the shots missed though. We still get the kill with the extra nuke across. Snowball connecting. They're making waves this time around.
Yeah, the mid lane is looking a little bit better, but I'm still concerned. This Villager just got a triple kill on the off lane. That's with Boots and Orb of Venom. It's also lots of experience going his way.
White definitely actually able to juke out Pinkman there through trees. Good thing too, because there's a DD to work with on top of the spells. It's actually quite dangerous at this point.
And it's a level 2 Sky. They might be able to just kill him again.
Go again for Hope. Miedo, gotta be careful though, does have one more nuke to work with. And Hope with the extra tower shots, enough to actually get the kill. He'll take out a Maledict.
Is he there? No, Raindrop.
Wow. What?
Infused Raindrop.
God damn it. Raindrop Gaming, just barely keeping him alive, and now, okay. Oh no! The Sonic Wave misses. He's still gonna die, right? Surely? Does have bottle charges to work with. Not stick of poison though.
Oh.
No way to move through that, so. He will drop, Wind Runner dies down bottom, so. I don't know.
For the record,
we're going the way of Wipeout. LoL is certainly looking much better than they did in the last game.
I'm pretty sure if FM kept running and uses this 1.8 base region to delay the damage from the Scouraf, he would have survived. It is a level 1 arcane bolt. Okay, there's a shackle again.
2 shadows strike though, 3 powerful shackles. Wind Run was used already, but not really lasting for all that long.
I'm gonna keep saying shackle and then I'll let you guess who it is.
Well, I'll see it. I have the camera. Clown. Blinking aggressively again, taking a lot of damage now with the extra shackles stopped now by the Scarif Mage coming back and Snowball. A little bit overzealous, but now it's just on the creeps with the healing ward. Keeping him alive through all of that.
Missed the arcane bolt.
Don't want more though, the cask. Bouncing once. Cancelling that clarity, but Clown. Oh no, not again! He's just way too aggressive, way too early. Doesn't have the blink cooldown to really make that stuff happen.
Yeah, that's why you see a lot of players, if they realize that their Shadow Strike's not doing enough, skipping it completely, and just trying to reduce that cooldown on the blink. Just even going, I've even seen some 0-4-3 builds at level 7, where you just max out the blink so you can make these aggressive plays. It can work, but if you only have it once, it has to remain a full defensive tool.
Yeah. I mean, this is another kind of game we can just skip out Shadow Strike. It's way too powerful on lane. But, yeah, I mean, he's playing like he has that max level blink and he has more nukes to work with and more... Just 1 or 2 items, like even just treads for some extra HP, but it's not quite there just yet.
Yeah, not quite there just yet, you're right, but I don't know. They have a decent amount of levels, but the Scarif is really hanging behind. Like, we have 3 heroes, or 3 calls actually. The entire trial is sitting over 5, while only the Wind Ranger is on 6 and 1 level ahead. The rest is still lacking. So experience-wise, I'm going to look at the graph really quick. Yeah, and so it's a slight deficit actually. Oh, for Team LoL. Okay, for some reason. Must be the mid lane, isn't it?
These graphs don't really mean too much right now.
Yeah, I'm still confused. It's the PL. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, we just saw the smoke under the ward.
Yeah. At the very least, we'll make sure that the FM stays in jungle. Yeah, who is there anyway? Also has an initiative to work with other bottles. So.
Again,
Be
they
fine for the time being.
Radiant's top tower is under
and they
attack.
secure two bounty rings on Team Bull. Simply have to concede 2 of them now.
Top
Oh,
lane.
beast in trouble.
Radiant are scanning.
He's back, but he's far enough back to
Radiant's
cast.
top tower is
Unlikely to
under
bounce
attack.
back as goes over to the creeps, and with the TP already in from Yabba Dabba Doo, they actually roar up the Phantom Lancer, can get the doppelganger up before the Shackle can follow up, and even then the silence would have been there for Pigman.
That was a big waste of an ultimate.
Be careful, now there's no doppelganger. There's a way across, but with the shots, with the
Radiant's top
snowball,
tower is under attack.
he's in a lot of trouble.
Ooh,
There we go.
not enough. Was a good move actually, toggling it really quick on the on Nutri camp with the Phantom Rush, but not enough in the end. A bit lucky on actually getting the pick off on the PL. That's not a fountain, but in the meantime the DP died as well.
Sonic Wave was used.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Veil up
attack.
and running.
If they're just a little bit more patient, get the levels on the supports, get 1 or 2 items on the cores, and then start fighting on the further Wipeout, I think they'll be in a much better spot. Right now, well, they have a bit of wind under the sails, if you will. Roar can make back off cooldown of 20 seconds. They still have a very easy kill there, and Pinkman sitting super low on a tower. Mass TP is coming in. Queen of Pain cancelled, and everyone else too, so never mind that. I'll just Paul didn't quite get the memo. Just on the cast, but he shackled up, a couple of right clicks, he's dead. Or is he?
Or easy.
Yes, he is.
No.
Or is he? The raindrops once again, but
Dire's top
The double
Can't help
plot
you
twist.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That would have been clowny to actually get out of it, but yeah. I know, that was one way to waste 150 gold on TPs. I think they could have even taken that fight, but there must have been a call coming in like, nope, we don't do that, and yeah, which wasn't part of it.
Bottom tower is under attack.
So, let's take a look at the net worth chart.
Is under
Shock
attack.
sitting still slightly on top.
Are fortified.
Not soon to follow after the Queen of Pain and the PL with 300 and 500 gold behind it respectively. That's a spot you want to be in on a Queen of Pain, right? You have some items early on, you have a decent amount of rune control, and now you can actually rotate between your ultimates.
now they feel like they're forced to take a fight a little bit earlier though. Still 25 seconds on the cooldown here as the Raw comes out. The haste rune not really helping out too much as they're taking a lot of AoE damage. The Clown still gets the blink out this time. He's able to walk in. Scarif Mage, the only one to fall just now. It'll be the end of that.
However the Queen of Pain got out of that one.
Silence. On actually in a lot of trouble, but the Shrine's still going. Kept them alive through all of that. Now,
Radiant's bottom
we'll try and fight the instant Hexer for Yabba Dabba Doo. There's the Spear coming in, looking for the Omni Stash, bouncing to the support. They bring down one, the second one falls to the Mystic Flare. You got the Shadow Shaman here with the Sonic Wave. And just fighting into a
Interesting
full
that they-
5-man lineup, and at the very least, I mean, that's a lot of space for the Phantom Lancer down bottom.
Dire's structures.
Yeah, it is, but still, do you take fights into 5 people when you know they're there, you had no vision, nothing, and they just TP at the shrine?
Radiant's bottom tower
It's like just mistakes all over and over. They're gonna lose a T2, or at least they trade out T2 for T2. But still, that's not what you want. That's not the position you want to be in.
Dire's top
You
tower
want
They were able
to
to do
single
enough
out
damage.
heroes.
If they were able to do enough damage to prevent this tier 2 from going down, then I'm behind that. Losing a few supports for that goal, but they haven't really been able to accomplish that. They needed to kill the DP or the Juggernaut or the Beastmaster, one of the cores, to really stop that push on its tracks. But as it stands, like, they still managed to trade evenly though, with both towers going down to the bottom lane. So it's not as bad as it could have been, but it's a trend that they cannot necessarily let continue with that draft as it is.
Yeah, Team LoL, they have an insane pushing lineup, and they
Go here.
on.
Not sure about this one. He did that. No support whatsoever. The snowball will connect. And
Radiant's
Mistakes
middle
were made.
tower is under attack.
pretty much. Not sure if this Invis rule is about to expire or not.
Had about 5 seconds. Anyways, happens. Just the support. Nothing of value was lost. Went for the urn. Any big items we missed out on? There's a Battle Fury coming up for the Jug, but still 1,000 gold away. And there's a Beastmaster having Medallion. Yeah, it's actually so useful. If you have Tusk and Beastmaster, you can just have Beastmaster to build that Medallion for you. And Tusk can focus on bigger items, and he has the Urn. That's one of Tusk's favorite items. Because he's fighting so much, he's practically useless for farming.
You know, Tusk tries to solo kill the PL, almost gets it, and with the Urn coming into play, he'll get the last hit. That is interesting. Not really supposed to happen, but yeah, I mean, Miedo, he was sitting down there in the bottom at very low health.
So, Wood Ranger will... hold on.
I mean,
I think he's dead.
Snowball coming in. Follow-up roar. They're actually keeping him in place for a while. And Link still comes out. Pawn sticking around for a little bit too long. Does another cast throw out. Maybe enough to turn us around, or at least keep Hope away. That almost bit him in the ass, and Pawn might actually still take out to the Urn, and not quite. Does have an Urn of himself. And the rest of his team to take over and to finish that kill, and the Task wanted to be greedy. Waiting for the shard to maybe come on cooldown.
Yeah, I think he was trying to line the shards up. I believe he had 3 seconds or something left, and he knew there was no range up this time. But yeah, just overextending against the Tusk is never a good idea. Now you have the PL actually joining up with the team. He has his Diffusal Blade as soon as the courier is available for him, meaning he has the tools to just run upon like the Tusk, run upon even the Shadow Shaman, and just go and burn the mana. That's so important that you get rid of these CCs, and if you do it via mana burn, that works just as well. That works just as well as silences and stuns.
Once I group up with all of that, Dice get up the high ground. Seeing what they can see on Miedo. It's the one leading the charge. Find two separate sentries.
Sadly, they don't give gold. Yeah. That's a change that will come, right? Sentries give gold now.
Why?
Plus 25 gold. Come on.
Why?
Let the sentry wars begin. You could make it worse, but every sentry gives you 100 gold if you kill it. So you can just, by infinite sentries, the dewarding wars on the offlane. Start your offlane with 6 sentries, pick an Invis hero.
Why would you disincentivize buying protection? I don't understand this at all. Like, Witch Doctor, he's dead.
I just think that in comparison, if you look at the types of true sides, right now you have static sentries with pretty big range, which are arguably better than Dust. Dust only against like really highly mobile heroes. Triplets in general, they just prefer sentries. That's because they're cheap, you can slam them down. So what you need is, if you increase the cost of sentries, it will hurt the warding and the vision presence overall on the map. That's probably pretty bad idea. So you gotta make up for it a little bit. So it's a little more punishing actually missing them.
Well, these shots certainly don't miss Kidman. Nice little silence there from Death Prophet, so can you get a few spells off? Not look like it. A little bit of damage there from Mystic Flare, and now the Death Prophet coming in. Phantom Knights are also working in a big Sonic Wave! It's to burst down all of them! Scarrow of Mage ends up being a noble sacrifice. The rest of the team found the perfect angle to go back into that fight.
Good one. But yeah, Sky for 4. I think that's a trade you can accept at this point. It's also the wards drop down, so that is a big cool entry.
I don't know, let me do the math. Yes.
That was some quick maths. Plus the tower. Made some space. I mean, Jug was farming, but going for... I'm not even sure I agree with the Battle Fury build this game. They have such a pushing lineup, and going for the Battle Fury is kind of doing the opposite for them. They want to push those timings. They want to get rid of like especially like these outer towers. They're so easy to claim. You already got the entire top lane, so this kind of area on the map should already be yours. For them, like I can make a big R for Radiant here, but every time they go there, they get into a team fight and they just die, and there's a smoke gate going on.
Quick silence there onto Tusk. This time he'll be burst down, taking up way more of the Mystic Flare than he bargained for.
Yeah, Diffusal Blade really helps out this guy as well in those fights. Yeah. Second Veil coming out. Just saying. Stacking belts is not a good idea.
You can chain them though.
True enough, but still not a good idea.
Seems a bit redundant.
Worthy tribute.
I'd rather see maybe even just arcane roots would be off to a good start on the Sky Routes and then
What do you mean boots? You buy boots on Sky?
medallion. There's just a bunch of other items that you could like. Even without the medallion, they will eventually be able to finish up the Team LoL not ready to contest that whatsoever. They're kind of grouped up. They've smoked 4 of their heroes. If they take a fight now, it would certainly be unexpected. But who do you go on here? I mean, this is Queen of Pain with an Aegis. So now he can blink in, use Clowny as he wants to, and then come back to live to tell the tale.
Finally, it all makes sense now. He was just missing the Aegis the last times.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're multi-security too. They need to push at the top. Skyrim is already on the way, but against the Jug, might not want to linger around too much. If there's any vision, and there is from the Radiant, you might run into trouble.
Yule Scepter would be another one that could have come in handy. Especially against the Juggernaut on me, but I'll just spin TVs out for now.
He should have went for fighting. Just run it and run it Sky. Show it.
I don't know if the rest of them are smoked up or just sitting near the shrine.
True, but I don't know, I would have taken that bait. It's a risk. Oh wow, there's one sad sentry in the mid lane for the Radiant.
Oh my god.
That hurts. That physically hurts. Missing both Observer Worlds on the left and right.
Well, at least they won't know unless they just watch the replay later.
Which you should. That's what you do to improve. Watch replays and flame people in your pub games.
Sure.
I prefer the latter.
Sure. Down bottom. We go for one of these pushes. The silence come out. Much damage being done, but Snowball across to the other side. More TPs coming in. They have to actually go for the retreat. Nice silence action on Queen of Pain, but no follow-up block on Yule Scepter is available as a counter. They do bring down the Tusk, who he brought himself in too deep. Except wards, as much money as another hero kill, more or less. That's my rule of thumb.
Yeah.
So.
That's both walls, isn't it? 10. Yeah, so 320 gold just from walls. It's better than a hero kill. Than most kills, that is. If you kill them all. And they have PL to deal with them, so... That's an additional bonus if there's ever any pushing. He's already building into the Manta style, so you can doppelganger Manta and you just immediately get rid of the wards, because every illusion counts as a full hit on it. It doesn't. The damage instance is irrelevant for the Shaman wards, so they die by even one hit by 1 damage.
Here we are. Wipeout. Comfortable, going high ground. Still at the Aegis, they have all the spells. For certain wards are nothing in silence, and they just straight up burst down the Shadow Shaman. Castle bouncing too much here. Snowball onto an illusion. But they're all just zoning them away from their own tier 3 tower. For more and more kills, and this Juggernaut keeping in with straight up spin. There's everyone else in the back though. No roll for this fight. And might do nothing here. Juggernaut just straight gets burst down despite the healing ward. X is already used, but now FM's out of mana. And meanwhile, the tower took just a little bit of damage. It's still on brilliant at taking objectives, so it's still standing for now. There's another spin coming in. And they might find Pinkman here with a punch up in the air. They do. Cast on the bounce again. That's a bit of that exorcism here, trying to burst it down now, but Dota about to come back, but we don't double check. I'll need a bit more damage to actually finish the kill, but they do it just a little bit too late. But not on everybody else. The Omni Stash, not actually finishing off anybody, but they're all super low, but on the side of Team LoL down low. Another blink, another right clicks, double kill for Miedo. It just comes back in and out, and hope all he can do is just show up and see the rest of his team dead. If we go down, the Rex will fall eventually as well.
Some angry drawing coming out on the map, but yeah, I think... Oh, there's actually backdoor protection. But only for a few seconds. They have nothing. They burned the buybacks. Jug is too far behind. Their timing, I think, just failed again. That one fight with we had an excellent Sonic Wave killing 3.5 people.
Yeah.
They're just moving into the Roche pit. That's just too much tempo to deal with, and even if we go like really further down the road in this game, you have to deal with a PL, and it just gets worse.
Yeah.
I'll take
It's what I said earlier. I mean, if Wipeout fights with like their basic amount of levels and like 1 or 2 items, they certainly have the skills and the tools to just do exactly what they've been doing, just win every single team fight. Like we were predicting in the draft, and like the only way against that right now is if you're the one who finds the initiative with the Beastmaster. He opted to go for the Pipe of Insight rather than Shadowblade that he queued up earlier, and I mean, it's helpful for sure, but not exactly what they need. They need some sort of initiation. The only way they kill the Phantom Lancer, or the Queen of Pain for that matter, is if they come in, initiate, and burst them down. It's gonna get even harder now as Clown just finished up the Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah, they have so many defensive tools now as well. It's the way. Where's your point of entry if you're looking at LoL? You have a Tusk you can work with, but the moment you go out of Snowball, you run into the Scarif Mage who just kills you up. You have a Beastmaster that went for the Medallion and the Pipe, so you don't have a Shadowblade or Blink to work with. Your Exorcism is just like running in the backline. You never have the chance to just get on top of Wipeout and try to fight him head on.
Yep.
Oh, they fight your Jug here. Ouch.
Yeah.
That hurts.
How much was that? It was like, yeah.
That was
2 of them in like the blink of an eye.
yeah. That was something between some and a lot.
I think it was just a lot. Poor Juggernaut. Doesn't have a lot of health points to work with at the best of times. Certainly not now. 60k is the gold advantage. I mean, LoL, they certainly held out longer. It's with the better laning stage, but now they have nothing to transition it into. They have a lot of push, but there's no way to actually get them down without losing all of their heroes.
True. I don't know, there's this T2 in mid. They're gonna claim it so fast. Jug, what do you do in Jug? If you fall behind with a Battle Fury, you're behind. That's... yeah, if you're behind, basically.
Meaning... hashtag expert analysis.
Yeah, come on, like, it's true. You just don't come back from it. You don't have the space on the map to go to camps to farm them. So, might as well, like... he would be just as effective if he sold that battlefield and bought an item for that gives him 50 damage. That would be the exact same effect. Like, you see him spin TPing away from heroes just to get some last hits. He isn't even using the battlefield because he can't. He gets chased across the map. We saw it at bottom, we see it at top now. They're just transitioning back and forth, and the entire map is locked down into the base now.
Claim bottom, now look at the claim top. Daring them to fight into Echo Silence, but still defensive utility is available. Don't think Amiedo really cares whatsoever. Holding on to the map style just in case. It's Juggernaut. He runs in with the spin rather than the Omnislash. This is where it's Clown. Feels. No raw, no nothing coming out.
Defensive wards, but yeah, the PL effect doesn't even care. Still does damage to the racks.
They find a target. Oh, maybe they do, maybe they don't. White FNG just get pushed down by Scarif Mage. Rolled on front onto Amiedo. Quite a bit of damage in return, and he's not having Aegis or anything, so he'll have to back off a little bit. Bottle charge for the rest of his team, but guess what's coming in? The Heart of Taras just completed.
Yeah, good luck trying what you just did again without the raw this time.
Very over Despair, and it's gonna be down to him as well as Steph Prophet. Nice little Sonic Wave dodge down the Yule Scepter, snowball across. Nice little silence, couple of stuns and everybody, but less damage. It's not really coming, it's coming from Wipeout. That's Steph Prophet down to the count, 45 seconds sidelines. So focusing on more Juggernaut next on list, and Beastmaster can barely make it up to the fountain, but that's not even keeping him safe. full 4-man wipe and yabba dabba doo. They want to make the full 5-man happen, and they do. Triple kill as the GG comes out.
Radiant's top barracks.
And the Wipeout are your Hyderabad champions here in the
Radiant's
Cobx
middle
Masters.
tower is under attack.
Just stands in the freaking fountain.
Yeah, like
Ah!
you hate that so much,
so
don't you?
much. Fountain needs true strike, percentage-based damage, and needs to just put hard on cooldown. Needs to be much stronger than it is.
Isn't there like that game mode that just pushes heroes out of the fountain and does insane damage?
I don't know.
Shouldn't be too punishing, but yeah, I agree. But hey, let's talk about what went wrong, because I feel like the pushing lineup had potential. The jug didn't really felt that natural in that lineup, and they didn't pull themselves ahead enough. Even though Clown made some really steep misplays in the mid lane. Like, we had him die, how many times? 3 times he blinked aggressively and just died while ganking or on mid lane? Something around that.
Oh, he has only 2 deaths, so at least 2 times.
Well, yeah, 2 times, and one time he gets saved.
Yeah.
But after laying phase, they never really grouped up, go for like smoke gangs, try to push them off. The only time we actually saw that, they had a good victory against Wipeout in the dire jungle at the shrine, where Wipeout actually made some panic mistakes and actually almost lost 2 fights in a row. But they never grouped up with Shaman wards. I don't think... Did we saw a single Shaman ward drop down on a tower? I think top T2 was the only one we saw.
Again, they never really got the chance. Wipeout was just... they stopped making mistakes, and they fought when they actually had the tools that they needed to fight, and then I think they were the ones who always got the drop on Team Wolf, which is something that the lineup isn't really good at dealing with. You don't have a lot of counter initiation and ways to save up heroes. Like, you have a death prophet, so you can benefit from sustained fights, but you have no way to actually make sure that you can sustain these fights. So
yeah.
Ultimately, they Wipeout just stabbed right into the weakness of the draft. Team Wolf ends up dropping game number 2, and Wipeout take the better part of this prize pool. I believe 30,000 rupees for them, 20,000 for Team Wolf still. But, yeah, that's us done for this stop here, the Cobx Masters, Hyderabad. We'll be back in 2 days' time. June 16th is when we'll go to the next city. That'll be Bengaluru. And if you want more esports though, you can still stick around, as CSGO finals are also happening today. But for us, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.